Hey everyone, I'm back, and this time I'm going to be playing through on Total Carnage. And I've also made a bunch of changes to the game based on um, feedback I'm hearing from people or experiences people have had that didn't sound like they matched the original game. There's a few things I just noticed that should have been better, and then there's some quality of life things. So what I'm showing now is what's probably going to become the 1.1 version of Aleph 1 Pathways into Darkness, and I'm going to be playing on Total Carnage just to show that as well. So, if you're looking for just a basic guide for how to play this game, you should look at my other videos where I played on normal and talked more in depth. In these videos, I'm just going to be talking about Carnage, Total Carnage specific stuff or things that have changed. And notice I have 10 magazines right now, and I only picked up 5. And that's because on Total Carnage, you get double Walter ammo. And I'm going to show you why here. So yeah, it's shooting me basically in between each knife attack, and just killing 3 headlesses right there, I'm almost dead. So using a knife is not very practical in Total Carnage, and since this game usually requires you to use your knife to conserve ammo, in order to make this possible on Total Carnage, I had to just give you more ammo. The effect is now I can just use my gun the entire time, and I think the end result is a more interesting or faster paced experience. Because one of the complaints I've heard from some people is that they don't like the idea of walking around slowly, just with a knife stabbing things. So, for the people that don't like that idea, they probably wouldn't like the original Pathways into Darkness, but maybe they would like the Total Carnage version, although obviously I'm still walking slow. And so on Total Carnage, projectiles move faster. So not only do they shoot, like, the enemies shoot at you a lot more often, but on top of that, the projectiles are moving faster. So yeah, not only are there more things to dodge, but they're harder to dodge. So you're going to end up taking more damage than you usually would, and therefore your time is not going to be as good at the end, most likely. And everything also has more health, so in cases where I would usually be able to one-shot the headlesses with my gun, it's taking 2 shots, which is also another reason why I'm giving more ammo in Total Carnage, just because everything's got more health, therefore you need more ammo. And I'm on Never Stop Firing. I'm not actually going to be talking to any of the dead bodies this playthrough, because I already know what everything says. However, I do want to get the 2 points from picking up the crystal, so I'm just going to grab the crystal real quick. And then, yeah, just to get the points. So yeah, I'm taking a lot more damage than I usually would. Just, it's gonna happen with the way Total Carnage works. But luckily you can just keep resting. Okay, we got a bunch of spawns here. One thing that was broken in the last version that I fixed in 1.1 is sometimes the monsters were like the random spawns were actually they were spawning outside the playable game area, and that's because I had to make a bunch of polygons outside the playable area to make the background of the map beige like this. Otherwise, all the unexplored areas would be black instead of beige. So I had a bug where, you know, things were spawning in those kind of background polygons that are only there to make your map look good. So the end effect was a lot of the spawn monsters you weren't actually seeing, and therefore the spawn rates were too low. So that's been fixed now in this version. And see, even though I'm getting double ammo, I'm still not, just don't have a ton of ammo because I'm just using so much more than I normally would. There's quite a few things I changed with this version 1.1. I'll probably talk about them as it becomes relevant. Also, I'm playing on a 4:3 aspect ratio, which I was not doing in my introduction or the guide videos, just because this is more authentic. The original game didn't have widescreen, so just playing through Total Carnage and limiting my view to what I would normally have had in the original game. Yeah, these headlesses, man, they attack much quicker on Total Carnage. And you see that resting text that's showing up there. That's a new feature in 1.1. Just because having a black screen, like you got that message in the original game. I never thought to add it but yeah, it's there now. Makes it more clear what's going on. That was a suggestion from someone. Okay, so I got both chains. Now I just need to go get the crystal. So yeah, I would say anyone that doesn't like the idea of running around with your knife, this Total Carnage is what you want. I think the action is a little bit amped up a little. Might make the game seem a little more interesting or just more exciting. You know, that's just if you're on the fence about playing this game at all because it just doesn't look appealing to you, which is understandable. I mean, this game, the original, came out in 1993, so obviously things in gaming are a little different now, so. And I think even back then, some people didn't like how slow this guy walked. Okay. Got our yellow crystal. That gave me 2 points. My pistol is the third one, so. I'm not even going to equip the crystal because I'm not going to talk to any of the dead bodies. Again, like I said in my other videos, I would definitely recommend that you, certainly if you've never played this game or if you haven't played it in a long time, get the crystal and talk to the dead bodies, because that's definitely a large part of this game, is just hearing what they have to say. But if you're like me, playing through this game, in this playthrough, I've already heard everything they had to say, so you don't need to do it every time. Okay, unlock and load. Gonna go get the emerald and some ammo. Yeah, and I'm trying to get close to them to conserve ammo, but it also makes it almost impossible to dodge because everything's just moving so much faster at me. So there's probably a balance there that makes sense. I just haven't really figured out what that is yet. Okay, got the emerald, so now I've got 8. That's my total health. Gonna go get this ammo. And as long as you're resting often enough, Total Carnage really isn't too hard. Just need to dodge and rest as needed. It's probably easier than a lot of marathon scenarios on Total Carnage, except for a couple areas, which we'll get to, but there's like a room or two that are just really hard to do on Total Carnage. It is possible though. I have played through this whole game before, although not with this version, so it's kind of what I want to just make sure that I haven't broken something that used to work in the last version, because I have made a bunch of edits Actually, one thing I haven't talked about that is different. It's not a big deal now, but later on in the game, being able to quickly move all the way down through your inventory is kind of annoying. So I've added a new feature where if you hold down secondary fire and then do previous next weapon, it'll jump you right to the end of your inventory. And same thing with previous. So next weapon goes to the end, previous weapon goes to the beginning, as long as you're holding down your secondary fire. So that's just kind of a quality of life thing that I think will be helpful. If you pick up an item and you want to scroll to it, it'll be at the bottom of your list, and if you want to do something with it right away, it's just really annoying later on in the game to get there. So being able to quickly just jump to the end of the list is nice. And since the time bonus, if you care about your end score at all, the fact that I take more damage is going to negatively affect my time bonus. So one way to help with that slightly is if you notice you've only got a sliver of health left when you're resting, you can just cancel resting to save yourself the 7 minutes. And I also made some edits to the end score based on difficulty, because I kind of felt it didn't make sense for you'd actually have a lower score on a higher difficulty. It didn't seem fair. But you almost certainly would, just because your time bonus wouldn't be as good. So what I've done is, if you have played the whole game on Total Carnage, you'll get a +5 bonus to your score, just as a difficulty bonus. That way it'll kind of make up for, hopefully more than make up for, your time bonus loss. And then it'll at least feel like you got rewarded for playing on a higher difficulty. And if you actually just play the game on normal and then just switch it to Total Carnage right at the end of the game before you exit the pyramid, it won't work. The way I've got it working is every like 15 seconds in game, it'll keep track of which difficulty is currently being played, and your end score will be an average of all of that. So if you play Total Carnage 80% of the time and then switch to normal at the end or something, you won't get the full Total Carnage bonus that you would. You'll get kind of like, in that scenario, you'll probably get the major damage bonus, which is a +2 to your score. So you'll still get a bonus if you do that, but you won't the only way to get the +5 is to play the entire game on Total Carnage. Because that's kind of why I didn't put it into 1.0, is I didn't want people to cheat and just get you know, a bonus for escaping the pyramid right at the end on a high difficulty, even though they played the whole game on a lower one. I didn't quite know how to deal with that, but that's what I ended up doing. It's just now you'll get now it keeps track as you play, and yeah, it does the average. So. And so right there, I had a sliver of health left. I just canceled resting because it's not worth 7 minutes to me to rest that tiny little bit. But I'm intending to play this Total Carnage the whole way, so that I'm hoping to get that +5 bonus to my score at the end. Okay, so that was lock and load. I think I got everything. Now we're on They May Be Slow. This game's definitely a little bit more intense on Total Carnage. I like it. This is probably how I'll play this game. I've always kind of replayed this game occasionally. Since I played it as a kid, every few years I'll go and replay it just for fun. But now when I do it, I'll probably be using this port, and I'll... man. I'll be doing it on Total Carnage, because it's just... It definitely is more intense. I kind of got greedy there, trying to rest on this level. I should have gone down to the... Like right now, if I go down the ladder and rest, be the safe thing to do. Which I'm gonna do now. And I am playing with a keyboard still, just because I don't want to be able to move too fast, which if you use a mouse you can move too fast, or I mean turn too fast. So I'm trying to go for the full challenge here with my keyboard only and 4:3 aspect ratio. This should be about as an authentic experience as possible, obviously ignoring the fact that the original game didn't have difficulties. There's teleporters through there that I don't care about right now. And you will gain experience in your weapons quicker than you usually would, just because you're using them a lot more. Everything's got more health, so you're shooting more. Also, I'm not using my knife, so... right now... Oh, I'm already an expert, actually. So yeah, I'm an expert in my Walter by the early part of They May Be Slow, so... that is definitely not normal for if you were playing on normal difficulty, but it's kind of a nice thing for Total Carnage. You know, since everything has more health, being able to get to an expert in your weapon a lot sooner is nice. Although, I do wonder if I should increase the requirements for becoming an expert. on Total Carnage, just to add to the challenge even more. Not really sure about that. Guess if anyone else has any suggestions, you can leave a comment in the comment section, letting me know what you think. Getting the ammo hidden in the skull there. Oh yeah, I'm already up to 50 magazines just because of the double ammo. So Total Carnage, you can play that if you just aren't in the mood to conserve ammo and you want, you know, the gameplay cranked up to 11 or whatever. It's definitely a different experience than the normal game. And if you're really good at dodging, I think the range of scores you can get from good to bad will be higher than on the normal difficulty. Just because your time bonus, if you're really good at dodging, and you know, you play through the game really carefully, you could probably get a much better time bonus than someone who's not. So it makes the score a little more interesting. Whereas on normal difficulty, it's just really easy not to take much damage. And then the time bonus, you know, the difference in time bonus between good and bad really isn't that much. Okay, so here's an example of something I've changed in this new version. If I look at my map, you don't see anything on the map indicating there's a secret there. What was happening was a lot of people were just noticing something on their map, and they were able to get the blue crystal without first having gotten the yellow crystal, which is bad because if you skip the yellow crystal, you're skipping out on a large part of the game. Because talking to these dead bodies is how you get the plot, and you know, it's just a fun part of the game that you're missing out on. And I think Bungie's original intention was you would be stuck here now. If you hadn't gotten the yellow crystal, you wouldn't be able to talk to this guy, and he wouldn't be able to tell you that there's a secret in this room. So I've tried to replicate that as best I can. Unfortunately, if I happen to pull up the map when I'm directly looking at the secret, then you can see it. There's pretty much no way to prevent that I've found. However, if you pull up the map at any other time, that secret does not appear. So I'm hoping that's good enough. I would like people to not find this blue crystal by accident just because the map happened to show them. So that was one change I made for this version, is just hopefully making a little more true to the original. And now that I've actually found the secret, it shows up. It continues to show up. But yeah, if you had gone left on the ground floor and skipped the yellow crystal entirely, you wouldn't usually know how to get the blue crystal. And then when you try to go up and immediately get attacked by a phantasm, you'd be completely out of luck. You'd have no choice but to back up and try to figure out what you missed, and then you would find the yellow crystal. But in this port, what I've noticed is, you know, people aren't doing that. They're finding it on the map without having gotten the yellow crystal, and then they go a bunch of levels with no yellow crystal, and then they're just missing out on part of the game. So I didn't bother to do that trick with all of the secrets, just this one, because I feel it's important, and the one on Happy Happy Carnage Carnage, I also did this similar thing, because that secret is supposed to be really hard to find. The other secrets that are just revealing teleporters that speed up your progress, I'm not too concerned about them. I don't really mind if people know about them easier than in the original game, because, you know, let's face it, they're nice to have. Okay, so actually I think what I'm going to do is end this video right here. We got through several levels, and that's it for They May Be Slow, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.